Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. Let's get right into it. Announcing Amazon Bedrock Studio Preview. I wonder if Bedrock Canvas is going to be next. That's what SageMaker did. Those thieves still owe me $260 in credits for their predatory pricing model. Wondering what the heck Prowler does and how it can help your org? Wonder no more. The fine folks at Prowler are putting on a webinar this Tuesday, May 14th at 9 a.m. Pacific and noon Eastern. Securing Cloud Environments with Prowler. This isn't just any webinar, it's your gateway to mastering the ins and outs of one of the most powerful open source tools for AWS security, Prowler. Visit prowler.com and click on the banner to register or watch on demand. Amazon Cognito introduces tiered pricing for machine-to-machine usage. On the one hand, this is charging for a use case that used to be free. On the other, now that use case costs customers money, I think it's a lot more sustainable long-term for those customers. Put slightly differently, if I use Route 53 as a database, I can expect future service enhancements to potentially disrupt my insane workflow. But if AWS starts charging for database dimensions on Route 53, I can be assured that someone's paying attention to my needs and I can build atop it with confidence. Let me know if you're using Cognito's machine-to-machine for things today. I'd like to know. Amazon EC2 INF2 instances optimized for generative AI, now in new regions. For generative AI. Okay, does that mean that EC2 is considered a generative AI service? In their earnings call, Amazon committed to making billions in revenue from GenAI services, which is easy to do if you just stuff everything from EC2, as in this post, to S3 in a now deleted AWS job posting under the umbrella of being an AI service. AWS Amplify Gen 2 is now generally available. 6 months after being announced at reInvent, it's become available. When I get back around to my Amplify project, I'll see how it's improved. Do we like this one or not, folks? AWS Cost Anomaly Detection reduces anomaly detection latency by up to 30%. The post says, with this new capability, AWS Cost Anomaly Detection analyzes cost and usage data up to 3 times a day instead of daily. That's cool and all, but it's tremendously ambiguous. When it runs in its now 8-hour cycle, how long must the anomaly have existed in order for it to get flagged? If it's still the several days to consistency model of the rest of the billing system, then this doesn't appear to help all that much, and is in fact heavily misleading. If it takes 3 days for the billing data to show up, then another 24 hours historically for the detector to trigger, and you drop that to 8 hours for the triggering, you've dropped the latency by a bit under 10%, not 30%. Amazon DynamoDB introduces configurable maximum throughput for on-demand tables. It's not promoted this way, but make no mistake that this is a cost control measure. Nice work. When it's time to secure their cloud environments, AWS itself recommends Prowler open source, but don't let that fool you. It's actually good. Prowler gives you the tools to oversee and secure your AWS environment openly. Why hide behind closed doors when you can empower your team with a security tool that's open for all to see and improve? Visit prowler.com and embrace a transparent approach to AWS security with Prowler open source. Creating an organizational multi-region failover strategy. The first architectural diagram here demonstrates a bunch of resources in a region, including S3. The S3 bucket becomes impaired, so it falls back to an S3 bucket in another region. That's great, but if S3 goes away for a bit in a region, basically nothing else is going to work properly there either, no? Reimagine customer experiences with AWS at Customer Contact Week 2024. Meanwhile, as part of Customer Full Contact Week, Broadcom put out a blog post saying that just because AWS won't sell VMware Cloud on AWS anymore, the service isn't going away. But who's going to be able to afford what they're doubtless going to do to the renewal pricing? List unspent transaction outputs by address on Bitcoin with Amazon Managed Blockchain Query. Focus, AWS, focus. You're targeting grifters with GenAI now, not cryptocurrency. Nice work putting this again on the AWS database blog. No notes. And finally, generative AI, getting proofs of concept to production. The media is filled with stories of AI hallucinations, toxic speech, bias, and inaccuracy. So is Amazon Q. So is every experiment I've run with Bedrock. This post is about mitigating risk, but you can't deploy GenAI willy-nilly and then act shocked when it, I don't know, attempts to write a limerick about one of the sex toys you sell in your retail store, Amazon. And that's what happened last week in AWS. I'm cloud economist Corey Quinn. Please stay salty with me.